In this video, we're going to be doing multi-step word problems involving addition, subtraction, and multiplication of fractions. So when we start looking at word problems, it's always good to take a look at what the question is asking. And it says, how much of the book did she read in total? When we see that word total, it tends to mean that we're going to be adding. Reading the question, it says that Lila read 2/6 of a book on Monday, 1/6 of a book on Tuesday. On Wednesday, she read 1/6 of the book. And so we want to see how much she's going to be doing in total. So when we're adding fractions, we're going to put 2/6, and then we're going to add the next fraction. And since we have a total of 3, we're going to be adding twice. When we add, we make sure that the bottom numbers are going to be the same. And if the bottom numbers are the same, we keep that bottom number the same. We call this bottom number the denominator. And the top numbers, what we end up doing is we just add those two numbers together. And we call the top numbers the numerator. When we do that, we're going to get 2 plus 1, which is going to be equal to 3/6. Now we took care of these two numbers first, so now we need to take care of this last number, which again is 1/6. So we'll add those numbers, and again, since the bottom numbers are the same, we're going to keep that number the same. And then adding the two top numbers, we'll have 3 plus 1, which is going to give us 4. So how much of the book did she read in total? It's going to be 4/6. Looking at this next problem, it says, how much time did he spend playing soccer? So when we're looking at that word how much, it tends to mean addition. However, sometimes it can be subtraction, so we want to make sure when we read the problem we know exactly what we're doing. It says, Nico practiced soccer for 3/4 hours on Monday and 2/4 hours on Tuesday. Then he practiced for 1/4 more hours on Wednesday. So it does look like we will be adding all these numbers together. So we'll start by adding 3/4 plus 2/4. And you can add these numbers in any way you see fit. As long as it's all addition, it doesn't matter what order you do. So adding these numbers, again, the bottom number will stay the same, the denominator will stay the same, and we'll add the two top numbers together. So 3 plus 2 is going to be equal to 5. So we'll have 5/4. Then it says he practiced for 1/4 hours more, or 1/4. So since the denominator is the same, the bottom number is the same, we'll just add the two top numbers together. So 5 plus 1 is going to be 6. So our answer will be 6/4 hours. Looking at the next word problem, we're going to take a look at that question. It says, how much of the garden has plants now? That word now can be a little bit unsure, as well as that word much. So it could mean addition, it could mean subtraction, or it could mean both. We don't know, so the best thing we could do is read the question. It says, Leah planted 1/3 of the garden with tomatoes and 2/3 with carrots. She decides to remove 1/3 of the carrots because they're too close together. That word remove is going to tell us that we're going to be subtracting. But it looks like originally we want to see how much of the garden has been planted. So we're going to be doing both. The first thing we'll do is we'll add, and second we're going to be subtracting. So adding the first two numbers, we have 1/3 plus 2/3. We're going to put 3 on the bottom, and we'll just add the 1 plus the 2, which will give us 3. Now it looks like we're going to be subtracting or removing 1/3. So that means we're going to start with what we originally had, which is 3/3, and that's also the bigger number, and we're going to subtract 1/3. Well, if that's the case, again, if we're subtracting, we still keep that bottom number the same, the denominator, and then we subtract 3 minus 1 on top, and that's going to give us an answer of 2/3, or 2/3 of the garden. Looking at the next problem, it says how much of the pizza was eaten in total? That word total tends to mean that we're going to be adding. And if we read the question, it says James ate 1/6 of the pizza, and then he ate 2/6 more, and then his sister ate 1/6 of the same pizza. And we want to see how much they've eaten in total. So what we're going to do is we're going to add all three of these numbers together. We're going to put the same denominator 6 on the bottom, and then we're going to do 1 plus 2, which is going to be 3. Then we're going to add his sister's slice of the pizza, which is 1/6. We'll have that same denominator of 6, that number on the bottom stays the same, and then we'll add 1 plus 3, which is going to be 4. So our answer is 4/6. Looking at the next problem, it says how much ribbon was used? Well, it's too hard to differentiate if we're going to be adding or subtracting, so we need to read the question. It says, Each gift uses, so we have each gift, and he uses 1/8 yard of ribbon. And it looks like Sarah wrapped 5 gifts. She then made a gift with 3/8 of a ribbon, and we want to know how much was used, or how much was used in total. So when we have 1/8, and we see that we have 5 gifts, we're going to be multiplying this. And so when we multiply these values, what we want to do is we're going to take a look at keeping that bottom number the same. That denominator stays the same, and if we multiply this, we only multiply the 2 top numbers. So we have 5 times 1, which is going to be equal to 5. So we'll have 5/8. So then it looks like we're going to be adding 3/8 of a yard of ribbon on top of that. So now we'll add that in, that denominator, the number on the bottom stays the same. Then we'll have 5 plus 3, which is equal to 8/8. So we used 8/8 yards of ribbon. Reading the next question says, how much ice cream was served in total? So we know that word total is going to mean add. Reading the question says that each child got 2/10 of a gallon of ice cream. There were 6 children, and then 1/10 gallon was eaten by grandma. So it looks like we're going to have 6 children that are going to eat 2/10 gallons of ice cream. So that's going to be multiplication. That word each gives it away that it is multiplication. So if you see that word, just remember that you will multiply. 6 times 2, and then we're going to keep 10 at the bottom. And 6 times 2 is going to be equal to 12/10. Then we see that grandma eats 1/10. So if we add that together, we're just going to add the 2 top numbers of 12 plus 1, which is going to be equal to 13/10 gallons of ice cream. Reading the next question says, how much did he use altogether? And that tends to mean addition, but let's take a look at the question and see what it's asking. It says Mason used 3/6 cups of flour and 2/6 cups of sugar. Then he used a total amount again to make a second batch. That word second means that we're going to be looking at 2 times, so we're going to be multiplying those values. So we're going to first add the 2 values together, and we're going to have 3/6 plus 2/6. Adding that together is going to give us 5/6, just adding the 2 numbers on top. And then what we need to do is we have that value of 2. So we're going to multiply 2 times 5/6. When you multiply these values, that denominator is going to stay the same, and we only multiply the 2 values on top. So 2 times 5 is going to be equal to 10/6, and that will be our answer. Looking at the next question, it says, how much water does she have left in the bottles? Well, that word left is going to mean subtraction. Reading the question, it says that each bottle holds 2/8 liters of water, and Ella fills up 3 bottles, then drinks 3/8. So we know that we're going to be multiplying first, and then it looks like at the end we're going to subtract it. So we have 3 bottles, and each holds 2/8 liters of water. Multiplying that, we're going to multiply those 2 top numbers and keep the bottom number the same. So we'll have 6/8. Then it says that she drinks 3/8 amount. So when we subtract again, we keep the denominator the same, that number on the bottom, and we subtract the 2 numbers on top. 6 minus 3 is going to be 3/8, and that will be our final answer.